The idea of buying digital delay software might seem alien to a lot of musicians and engineers because, let's face it, most DAWs do come equipped with pretty good delays anyway. However, I would like to recommend FabFilter's Timeless 2 because it is more than just a simple delay. We'll get to why I say this in a moment. For now, I'm going to tour the user interface so we know where things are and what they do. In the next tutorial, we'll put Timeless 2 into action with a vocal track to add more interest. So, for now, let's take a tour. Timeless 2 contains two independent delays with a filter section and modulation features too. So, despite its lime green color scheme, Timeless 2 is similar in function to other FabFilter plugins. What we don't get, however, is an interactive animated visual display, as we do with Pro DS and Pro L and Pro MB, etc., etc. Instead, we see the different sections, delay, filter, modulation, well, they're all presented in different positions. By the way, I've got Timeless 2 open here in the expanded view, which is accessed by clicking at the bottom right corner and choosing the relevant option. Also, I've got the modulation section revealed by clicking the button here. Well, as usual, we see the presets and undo and AB and help options across the top. And here at the top left, we have these two important sections, feedback and delays. To the right of those is the filter section, and at the far right are the dry and wet level dials. Do note that you can adjust the signal's input level at the far left with the input gain control. I've already indicated the modulation button, and once clicked, we gain access to the modulation slots and modulation sources. Above these is the source selection bar, which will display all the modulation sources that are implemented. Across the foot, we see the MIDI learn, channel mode, and output options. As you start to use Timeless 2, you'll appreciate that when you use a particular function, then only relevant operation parameters are revealed or available. As we get going, you'll see the filters section reveals parameters purposely made invisible when not in use. Let's walk through a simple setup now to familiarize ourselves with the process and the parameters options. As the audio signal enters Timeless 2, you can adjust if necessary with the input control. Next, we can add the basic building block of Timeless 2, the delay. Now, with Timeless 2, there are two delay lines, one for each channel, left and right. The delay time curved slider lets you choose the type of delay required, and the delay will lock to the host tempo by using the curve slider, and we further choose the delay timing or offset by choosing a relevant position so that submultiples of the tempo are controlled. Now, if you're not locked to the host tempo, then you can accurately determine a good setting by repeatedly clicking or tapping on the number display just above, the top dial here or below the second delay line dial here. The delay pan does just that. It allows positioning of the particular delay across the stereo field, wherever you want it to emerge from. The feedback parameter means you can choose how many delays occur after the dry signal. This can be a single repeat or multiple repeats. This button is the style button and offers two choices, tape or stretch. You'll probably guess that tape will produce delays similar to a classic tape delay, whereas stretch is more creative in that it will retain the pitch regardless of whether the delay becomes shorter or longer. The freeze button just to its right means once clicked, the input signal will not refresh. Instead, whatever was captured or frozen at that clicked moment will remain in the Timeless 2 memory and constantly repeat until you deactivate, thus letting more of the original signal through. The filter section, which we've already noted, is here and is based on FabFilter's One Filter plugin. Hence, that's why we're not covering one in this Groove 3 course. I didn't want to repeat much of the same information. Well, this filter section contains two filters that can be combined or run independently. As you click on these main filter buttons, you can drag to adjust, and once you do, value displays are revealed that display current values, as I'm sure you would guess by the name. To be able to change the filter frequency and peak parameters only involves dragging up and down or left to right. Further from this, by holding the Control key if you're on Windows or Command for Mac, you can adjust the panning and response curve parameters. Remember me saying earlier about revealing hidden parameters that emerge only as utilized? Well, simply click one of the two filter buttons to achieve this. Once done, the whole filter section with its parameters get displayed. Just above those filter buttons is this filter routing button that offers 3 routing options. When set to serial, the left and right delays will pass through filter number 1 and subsequently through filter number 2 next. Set to parallel means delay number 1 output will be fed through filter 1 and 2, and the output of delay number 2 gets fed through filter 1 and 2 together. Finally, per channel here means the delay and filter work as 2 groups. Delay line 1 uses filter 1 and delay line 2 uses filter 2. And as we've seen, selecting a filter button means the filter section expands and reveals all these filter parameters. The frequency dial here can be modified across the whole of the audio range. When adjusted, this dial operates around the center or cutoff frequency of the active filter. Notice too that there's a pan ring around the outer edge of the frequency dial. This pan ring allows you to filter the left and right sides independently. If you dial the pan to the left channel now gets filtered but with a lower center frequency, whilst the right channel gets a higher center frequency filtering. The peak dial offers you the option to modify the active filter's resonance, and pushing the resonance up a little gives warm and characteristic tones. You can set the response type of each filter by choosing low pass, high pass or band pass, and then setting the slope works like in other FabFilter plugins and operates at 3 settings: 12, 24 or 48 decibels an octave.